All right, we're live. Good morning. It is Monday, December 20th. Logan here from Lucky Trader with Lou, of course, as always, here to give a preview of what's coming this week in NFTs. It is Christmas week here in the United States, so I guess everywhere. Christmas is an everywhere holiday, right? Thanksgiving is the tricky one that not everybody celebrates, but of course not everybody celebrates Christmas either. But nevertheless, to all viewers, welcome, happy holidays or happy day, regardless. Lou, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah, it's crazy because with Christmas and New Year's being on Friday this year, well, the eves on Friday, I think it'll make like the top half of these weeks a little busier, and then people will trail off at the end.
Yeah, I think we can spend some time talking about that. I mean, we might as well hop right into it. But we were chatting before the show and earlier this week about our initial expectations regarding what happens to the market, what happens to activity levels as we do have these like chunks of time too. It's not just one day really that gets celebrated here. Like, Thanksgiving, you kind of have the Thursday and then it extends into the weekend. But, you've got like a 10-day window here where most people with their jobs, like maybe their entire company is shut down or, whatever the case may be. But like most people are otherwise pretty unproductive in terms of like
Yeah.
their typical structural lives. So what's your take? What are you thinking, expecting NFT wise here in this next week or so?
Yeah, I feel like NFTs are already kind of a way that people get away from hanging out with their family on the holidays. Like we kind of saw it with Thanksgiving a little bit. Um, It might be harder to say drop a mint on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day because I don't know, like people might not be at their computer. Like it might be all mobile kind of stuff. But I think people will still be on top of things like Twitter and just general news. But overall market volume might take a little bit of a hit on the next couple weekends.
Do you still expect stealth drops? Like, I mean, Christmas is like the giving, you know, present, hidden, I don't know, secret-y type stuff, Secret Santa-y type stuff. I don't know. Like, do you expect there to be stealth drops despite the holidays?
Yeah, it's an interesting like comparison. I don't know. I don't think there'll be like a stealth drop on Christmas unless it's like from a project that we already know about, like one of a bigger name project that does kind of like what the Toads did, where they had their like mistletoes. I can see something like that where it's a free to mint, but I don't know if it's going to be one of these like the Galactic Apes had like a big stealth drop that on a Saturday night. So I don't know if there's going to be as many of those. I think people understand that their target market is probably doing stuff with family and friends and probably less likely to sell out quick.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone is having fun with family and friends. Let's get into the week, though, at large. We can come back to this conversation where it makes sense or if folks from the audience have stuff to add in. I'm going to bring in the screen. We'll take a look, of course, at the NFT project schedule page, luckytrader.com. This actually just updated a few minutes ago as the final remaining Alien Friends just minted out. I'll hop over there. We were chatting about this. Actually, I'm guessing they sold out almost immediately, though I haven't seen a tweet from our team. Of course, I was on the stream here, so it was not minting. But this just sold out or expected to have sold out. There were only like 800 pieces available. Look at these little things. Who are Alien Friends? A community-driven collection of 10,000 randomly generated NFTs. Of course, taking back to this 0.2 Ethereum mint. We chatted last week a little bit about some of these mints that are encouraging more participants. Maybe more participants isn't the way, but at least creating
Lower barrier.
Yeah, right. Lower barrier to entry. So making it easier for more participants to get in. We didn't get a chance to talk about it too much. Did you participate in this? You were thinking about participating?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think there was like 90+% of it was on pre-sale, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
whitelist.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whenever there's things like that, it seems it's more exclusive by nature, and in that sense, like there's only 700 available to people in the public, and it went instantly, and it probably costs just as much as if
Right.
you were to buy it off of OpenSea. And the floor is like 0.08. It's not anything like 0.25 or anything like that off of a 0.02 mint. So I didn't go for it. It just looks exactly like Cool Cats to me.
Yeah. But Cool Cats look cool and people like them. So anything that seems to resemble Cool Cats, like lemons, right? Which have made quite a bit of a strong run here recently. Lemons look a lot like Cool Cats as well. Otherwise, on the project page, we'll briefly note some of these. Want to spend some more time maybe talking about Artbox Curated. That's dropping later today at 1 p.m. Then tomorrow there is the NBA Top Shot Deck the Hoops pack, the legendary pack filled with 2010s
Yeah.
Christmas moments. So, but I guess let's first. Anything else from today, Lou, that you've got your eye on? We've got Biddle. I'm not even sure. Buildiverse,
I
I
think
think
it's
is how you're
supposed to be
probably.
like build.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the D like
I don't
total
know how to exactly say it.
biddle verse maybe.
Yeah, Powder Heroes, Artbox Curated, Spirit NFTs, Auction
Yeah.
Day 1, Women Across Continents, the 2974 collection, Cam 1, Leon, Junior Punks, all today. So a heavy day of
Yeah.
drops. And I do also want to say, if you didn't read the Good Morning article on luckytrader.com, or if you haven't already followed Lucky NFT News, please do so. We're starting to fill out this project updates section of the NFT project schedule page more regularly with even more news and notes about projects that have already dropped. So let's say that you happen to miss Lil Pudgies, which minted out yesterday. Same goes with Noodles. Coolman's Universe was on Saturday, I believe, and then Crypto Champions. And I think there may be one other tentative revealed Dino Babies as well. But let's say like you missed those initially, you still want to be aware of what's happening with those projects. You can, of course, from the NFT project schedule page, just toggle from upcoming to project updates to check and see like, what's coming for a particular project that is already launched. So we have 4 projects, at least 4, potentially 5 with Dino Babies, expected to reveal a little bit later today as well. I guess while we're on this page, actually, Lou, before we go back to the Monday and get into Art Blocks and then Deck the Hoops or Deck the Deck the Hoops, not Deck the Halls, Deck the Hoops. Reveals, Lil Pudgies, Noodles, Coolman's, Crypto Champions. Do you have any excitement for any of these reveals? I'm not sure if you're a holder of any of these upcoming reveals.
I'm interested. I mean, the Lil Pudgies one is somewhat interesting, and the Noodles, like those two are coming off of the heels of bigger projects. The Lil Pudgy one I'm interested about because they had their like sort of drama with the mod, the Discord mod, and they still sold those yesterday, but at a low cost. So I'm not sure what kind of demand people have for the Penguins right now. So that one I don't think will be like overly exciting, but it'll be interesting to see. The Noodles one, it took 4 days, it wasn't minting, and then it minted out at the end yesterday. The Cool Man universe, people seem to like. There's some hype around that one, so I think that one's probably the one that I'll pay most attention to, unless of course those other 2 end up looking good. But I've seen some of the previews of the Noodles and the Little Pudgies, and they're not overly exciting to me unless you get like some of the rare ones are cool. The Noodles, they have like ice cream ones. I saw they have the rainbow puke, of course. So if you get something like that that's rare, has like a pickle or something like that, then I think you'll be just fine. But some of the basic ones didn't look that great.
Yeah. I want to take this time to actually give like a little bit of a small note for folks just to pay attention to. So as you can see here on Lucky Trader Asset Explorer for this is Lil Pudgies, for example. obviously, as of right now, they have yet to reveal. So that's why you're just seeing that placeholder image. As they do start to reveal, though, a really important note to pay attention to is we are only looking at 12,000 or so that have been minted thus far. So that was your public sale, and then about 20% of the existing Pudgy Penguins holders who have claimed theirs. So this collection as a whole is going to have like 22,000, I believe, 22,000 total little Pudgies. And you can see this little note over here on the right: rarities for projects can be updated, as well as this will continue to gather assets as more and more of the existing holders mint. And so those rarities are kind of always subject to change as a result of a new asset being created, right? Or a new asset being revealed. So just a small disclaimer, we're going to have these as soon as they're ready for reveal later today, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Little Pudgies reveal, supposed to be around 4 p.m. Eastern time for reveal. As soon as they start to, we'll unfurl them and we will rank them based on what we have. But those rankings, of course, subject to change as more and more assets come in. So something I just wanted to point out, but they're all there. Yeah, you can see, Lou, you mentioned a small mint price for them in the public sale.
Doesn't this one just feel like super cash grabby? Like after they basically fell apart, they're asking people for more money.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what to say too much about. Like, should we say they've definitely fallen apart? Of course, like pretty notable drama, right, regarding the Pudgy Penguins. It reflected itself in the price of Pudgy Penguins, right? This was a project that over the summer, if folks, don't remember or perhaps do recall, like the bonkers nature of Pudgy Penguins. But crypto Twitter, some of NFT Twitter as well, like really memed this super hard and into relevancy. And so like if you take a look right now, like 0.81 floor, like, man, what was it at 1.2, 3? We can tell. If you head to the overview pages on luckytrader.com, you can actually see a floor
Definitely
price
got to at least 3. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was a rough couple of weeks in there where it went down to like 0.02, 0.01 even. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this is
it got
zoomed
to
in
about around 3. Yeah, it was sitting around 3 for a little bit.
Yeah. 2.85. Yeah. And then I mean this is not the this is what like equities and crypto charts look like in the last week, right?
It's not a great chart.
not a super appealing chart.
That's where like to me it's like, why are people buying into something that's now 22,000 count for it? Seems weird.
Yeah. Well, the thing I was getting to there is that it does feel like because of the relevance it at one point gained, and because of the way that it gained that relevance through like tons of mimetic value coming from notable crypto Twitter or crypto or NFT Twitter, people, there's like a chance there's some Pudgy Penguins redemption story in here. You know what I mean? And I could definitely see it being memed back into some. I don't think it will reach its prior peak, but I could see it being memed back in some way. Of course, not financial advice. I hold no Pudgy Penguins. I hold no little Pudgies. Don't expect to make a run at little Pudgies, but the reveal will be slated for later today. And you can find those on luckytrader.com under the little Pudgies. Other reveal, of course, Cool Man's Universe. Same exact thing here. All of these are minted out. So you don't have to worry about the rarity, like new assets being loaded in. But as we unveil them, right, that calculation will kind of be subject to change until they are all final. So this notification up here at the top will go away when all the rankings are officially final. But this is the one you said you're going to pay the most attention to. Revealing at 5 p.m. Expected to reveal at 5 p.m. What would you be looking for here, Lou? Like, are you paying attention because roadmap stuff? Are you paying attention because it has seen the most success after mint? What are you paying attention to and why?
Yeah, to me, it looks like it has the most buzz on Twitter and just in general discords that I've been in. It seems like people are pretty excited about this one.
Sorry, it's 9 p.m. Eastern. It's 5 p.m. Eastern for the noodles.
Oh yeah. The guy who started this one, the Cool Man's, Cool Coffee Dan is his name. He's got like 70,000 followers on Twitter, so a pretty decent following, decent push. To me, like from going on the website before, it seemed like decent effort to it. Whereas those other two, like the noodles and the little pudgy, are kind of just, we already have a project. Follow us into it. So I think somewhat of the allure of not knowing what the future can hold on this investment versus like, I just feel like, I don't know if I've gotten your take on this before, but I feel like companions are just so overdone now that people don't even care about them because most of the times it's just like brings you nothing. So to me, it seems like they might be trying to do like a little world with this Cool Man's. They, at least like the artist was at Art Basel, and then they've hinted at having some big partnerships. We don't know like what they are yet, but I think they're trying to build out a little metaverse world, the Cool Man's universe, and to me, it just seems like something that I wanted to keep my eye on, and see what after reveal the movement was like, because that's the thing that's been happening a lot recently. Is it comes up, 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 pre-reveal, reveal comes out, it comes back down. So I'm trying to like wait and see if there's a better entry point if I'm actually going to buy into this. Have you
Muted
seen
myself.
any
Sorry.
of these ones, like art wise?
Yes, I have. I think it has like in terms of would I, so I don't own, full disclosure, don't own. I'm not sure that I'm necessarily looking, to make a plunge pre-reveal. I am at this point in time, we've talked about this before, but at this point in time, I'm more of like a, I'll wait for the post-reveal drop. But here's what I'll say about Cool Man's universe. I like the warm colors that have been showcased.
I mean, it's just another one that looks like Cool Cats. Like
Yeah.
they're all the same at this point. It's just kind of, which is somewhat annoying, but
Yeah.
to me, like I feel like they have a big team and a lot more people following and keeping their eyes on it. So that's where, to me, I could see them being relatively successful here.
Yeah.
And yeah, look at that. They have over 10 people on their team.
Yeah, this is almost the size of like that Digital Animals team. We talked about that a little bit last week. Yeah, I'm interested in potentially the colors, but for something like this, especially where you mentioned a notable roadmap, like we're maybe trying to create a world of sorts or a Cool Man's universe, right? A universe of sorts. To me, these things don't really like. I don't need a rare looking one. Like I don't need a rare one if it's like a utility based NFT. At least this is my opinion here, right? So I would prefer on a project that has like potentially long-term strengths, I would prefer just let me get the best entry point possible, and that entry point is likely going to come post reveal, where people do the same thing they do every single time there's a reveal. They play the lottery. When they don't hit the lottery, they dump at floor if they have a floor, and that's what I will kind of actively wait on if that reveal happens and if it takes place. And if it doesn't, I mean, we don't see too often that it's the case where it goes the other direction, but meaning that it goes up post reveal. But we'll see. We had a question here about I'm Aiko, but as I looked this up, I had not heard of this. It appears to be a Solana NFT. It is kind of not safe for work. I'll throw it on the screen here, but final sale in 56 days. I think we'll probably reserve judgment for this later, if ever, unfortunately. So, but I did want to make sure that people know that we are looking at the chat. If you do have questions, you can drop them in there, but we will find maybe more appropriate topics and NFTs to chat about on this particular stream. Let me go back to the schedule page, Lou. We talked about the particular reveals that are taking place today. So we have Noodles, and of course you can get all this information, folks, for new people that are hopping in here, from the project update section of the NFT schedule page, luckytrader.com. But Noodles revealing, Lil Pudgy's revealing, Cool Man's Universe revealing, potentially Dino Babies, potentially Crypto Champions as well. So like a pretty notable reveal day. Again, all of those assets upon reveal will be explorable on luckytrader.com. Let's get into like the schedule itself though, and kind of the upcoming events for this week. Maybe the most notable one happening in, just like about 90 minutes from now will be Art Blocks Curated. Of course, this project going to be Jiometory. Is it supposed to be Geometry? I'm not. Either way, No Compute by Samzy. It's a collection of 1,024 NFTs. Another Dutch auction. This time again, is this 2 weeks in a row now where they've started the Dutch auction at 5 Ethereum? So we had Matt Kane's Gazers that started at 15 ETH, and then Jen Stark's Vortex last week at 5 Ethereum. We're re-upping again with Geometry. I think it's got to be said Geometry, right? By Samzy. This one at 5 ETH. Again, final resting point 0.1 ETH. If you take a look at the kind of your test mint here, this is mint 0 at Art Blocks. It's dynamic in the sense that you can kind of zoom in and scroll, I believe, left and right, though I don't know if it's just me being bad.
A lot of Art Blocks
here we
can
go.
do that with, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't know that, but you can usually interact with a lot of the Art Blocks.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
you can go left, right, you can go up, down, you can zoom in and out as
full
well.
360.
Yeah. What this really reminds me of, I'm not sure if you've done like an art tech house thing. Like there's this place in New York City called Art Tech House that my friend Drew Dinkmeyer took me to, that like you sit in this room and it kind of does this type of stuff. And I don't know, this really, really reminds me of that for anybody who's been there and knows what I'm talking about. What is your thoughts, Lou? I know you you did Gazers, right? A few weeks ago, or no?
Yep.
Okay. Did you participate in Jen Stark's last week or no?
Yeah, I have one Jen Stark. Gazers, I don't. Gazers I got in because that fell to like 0.25, and then I sold it apparently way too early. And yeah, to me, it's like this is another one that has an artist who seems to have a pretty decent following, and I think people sort of look at the ones that move, the ones that aren't just still images, and get more excited about them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree. As far as like Art Blocks goes, that's kind of what interested me in the Vortex. But yeah, I mean, Samzy is pretty good at this stuff in general. As you can see it here, like I feel like a lot of them are gonna look cool. Generally with Art Blocks, it's what do the floor ones look like? I feel like really helps or hurts the entire project. But
yeah,
that middle one, that Vortex one I saw before was really cool. So it just seems like this is right up his alley.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like the hard part with these is the generative nature of them. Like, are a lot of them going to look similar because it's generative versus if he was doing them all one of one? Would he be able to, make them that much cooler? There's 1,000 of them, so there's obviously going to be some that are worse than others. But I feel like this is the type of thing that the cool ones can end up going for a decent amount. I'll be watching it. Like obviously last week, I think it went at 0.75. I generally am the type of person that I'll go into an Art Blocks if it's under 1, but like at 2, I think about it a lot more.
Yeah. Did you see this note?
Interesting.
Unique working Game Boy cartridges. Of course, like let me go back to real quick before we get into this. If you didn't see from Samzy's Twitter or from the headline on his home site is ex Google, right? Code hacker, like obviously based on the generative projects from his lab. Very notable, like very skilled. Look at this shit. Like this is I'm with you. And actually, like as I scroll through this, and I was thinking this earlier today, some of these I think I like more than the project, or at least, Mint Zero. I think I like more than Mint Zero. But anyway, let me go back. Unique working Game Boy cartridges certificate redeemable for every holder of Geometry No Compute artworks to be displayed as a special and rare piece of hardware art. So we talked about this last week, right, on Thursday's show, where folks are like really excited about Adidas and kind of your ability to bridge physical and digital. And like Artifact is the same thing, right? Like I hold Artifact shoes from Ferocious that at one point I had the NFT with as well. And people want a way to kind of showcase their online activity, their NFT activity, physically as well. This is just kind of it's almost an afterthought on this particular project page because it's hidden down here and not really fleshed out too much. But another piece that comes with, it doesn't say that you need to mint. So of course I'm assuming there's some sort of snapshot taken. So you could potentially buy on secondary, but another example of that, Lou, that we were talking about last week, where people can look to hold some sort of physical stuff as well as the NFT here too. So you said, I want to correct me if I'm wrong, but you just said what you would start to think about this around the 2 mark. Is that right? Or did I hear you wrong?
I mean, if it starts moving, I generally, in things like this, I'd prefer to buy 2 versus buying 1 at 2.
Right. Okay.
But like I could see this one, the floor of it settling there, like whether or not it falls below in the minting. But as we saw last time, it's good when they start at this 5 because basically no one thinks about buying it at the first level, just because like it takes it's 5 minutes in between each drop in price. It takes about 5 minutes for the wave of people buying to actually mint out the 1,000, just because of how hard Art Blocks is and people are going one by one. So to me, like, I'll be watching it and trying to find like a good time to hop in. But based on previous, like, I don't know if it's going to go above 1 because it seems like people are waiting until around 1 to start firing at these now.
Do you see, so from the Art Blocks link here, right underneath the box with the pricing, you can actually go to samz.ninja and actually see some of the no compute outputs. So this is kind of like the Rink B or testnet versions of what you could potentially expect. And as I noted above, I'm not particularly like in love with this one, but as I've started like messing with this a little bit, like I'm just reloading here to get new ones. Some of these I like a little bit more. Or did I not reload appropriately? This one, like, I like this one personally more than the other one. But you can mess around with this and get an example or a few ideas of what could you potentially grab. Now this is a little trippy, Lou.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's 4 different.
This is very much Art Tech House together stuff. For folks from New York City.
Yeah, have you ever done one of those like immersive art?
Yeah, that's what Art Tech House is. It's like almost just like that. You like sit in a room and it's everywhere on the screens around you.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
They have one out here now it's Van Gogh.
Art. They have that everywhere. You're in Denver though, right? Have you done there's some other like big immersive exhibit there? Meow Wolf?
Well, Meow Wolf is a little less. It's not like immersive, but that is like it's an art museum is how I would word it. But it's kind of similar.
This is Art Tech House.
This is what the Van Gogh is like that, where you sit in a room and you're surrounded. There's one room at Meow Wolf that's like that as well.
So this is when I see Geometry from Samzy, like this is what I think of. Like I think of me being in that room, sitting on that floor, and like the entire thing just kind of unfolding before me, which is cool. It's a cool experience.
Well, this brings me back to a thought I've had before is like, are a lot of these projects trying to get ahead of like a VR craze? Like, are they expecting VR to become like more of a thing? Because I feel like this would be a cool piece to have, if you have like your headset on and you're like looking at your art and you can move around with it.
Well, not to speculate too much, Lou, but Samsy, ex-Googler, ex-Google Creative Lab, right? If anybody's going to be ready and prepared to maybe take that step, maybe Samsy. Of course, highly speculative nature of this show at present time. Let's move beyond though. So that's dropping a little bit later today, 1 p.m. Eastern time at Artblocks. Artblocks Curated, the next installment of Artblocks Curated. I believe it's the last one of the year. Did I see that right from Jeff Davis in the Art Blocks Discord? Somebody can correct me. I think it may be the last one of the year. But starting at 5 Ethereum, it's a collection of 1,024 NFTs, starting at 5 Ethereum, Dutch auction style, dropping all the way to a final resting point of 0.1 Ethereum. For those who did not see that little fine print on the Art Blocks website, you are subject, potentially, we don't know when, but subject to receive that little hardware art as well, the Game Boy cartridge certificate that comes with this, man. Let's move beyond, though. One of the other like big things for this week in particular, Lou, is, and man, we spent some time talking about it in the last few weeks, and not always in a positive way, but is NBA Top Shot dropping their Deck the Halls pack, Deck the Hoops. I keep saying Deck the Halls.
Deck the Hoops.
Yeah, Deck the Hoops, a play on Deck the Halls. I'm getting stuck on the pun here, but Deck the Hoops, legendary pack drop, Series 3, legendary, but it's Deck the Hoops 2010s. So not 2010, the year, but the decade of 2010 through 2019. You take a look, $999 per pack, which prior to maybe this weekend would have been like, oh man, $999 dumping into Top Shot, but everybody got their Top Shot stimulus, or not everybody, we should say. I didn't get a Top Shot stimulus, but lots of people got a Top Shot stimulus. It is required, of course, because this is a legendary pack. You do have your typical collector score requirements. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. So there are two queues. There's a general queue and a priority queue. Priority, 25,000 collector score. General queue, 10,000. Is this the first time we've seen a general queue with such a notable collector score requirement? Because I seem to remember like most all general queues being like, anybody can join.
No, but this is a legendary. I think the last legendary, I want to say, was maybe, I think it might have been 5,000 without the bonus, but you could get 10,000 on a bonus the last time. But this one is you need 25,000. Oh, that's for the general. Sorry. I think last time
the same bonus applies to the priority as well.
What I'm saying is I think the current general queue requirement was previously the priority requirement. So I think I'm eligible in the general queue, but that's because you're getting it from the entire bonus. So I wonder how low that number is, because the thing is, over time, these requirements kind of have to go up as people, this was a couple of months ago, the last time there was a legendary drop, but
do they
25? Yeah, I mean,
do they need to go up? Do the requirements to be in the general queue need to go up? Should we not be thinking maybe like, let's lower the requirements?
The priority queue is 25,000.
Priority queue.
I don't even know if it's possible to have 15,000 as your well, it probably was if you're like a dingling or something, but the way that I understand it is there's 270 of these packs. They want it to be like, say, 10%. So they pick a number that about 2,000 to 3,000 people already have. That's how I assume they do their priority. And then the general, it's like if that was what you've spent $10,000 on the marketplace, basically. So I don't know, that the tough part for me is it's $9.99 is obviously like a big number, but it comes with an out of 55, and those usually like the worst of them are probably it's probably at least $500, and then the worst of the MGLE is probably like $100. Like it for $9.99, like it seems like a high number. You are getting 9 moments in it, so it probably comes out. I haven't done the math personally, but it probably comes out to plus EV. But I don't know. It's tough because people are so down on Top Shot and willing to like dump a lot of these right away that I'm not so sure. I think it depends on what the moments themselves are and who the
Yeah.
players are, because that's always what comes out of it. And I mean, not to bring in all day, but what if these are like bench players? Like I think I saw the Kevin Garnett one is supposed to be one of the higher expected.
Yeah. So the highlighted moment, there's of course like they share, the list I think with all of them, but the highlighted moments, at least from the press release, are KG, Kawhi Leonard, AD, Unibrow, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I think the Klay Thompson one I think is one that is going to be higher because he only has a common moment right now, I believe. This is going to be the first of his that are sort of throwback by nature. The Dwayne Wade one is probably going to be high. I would guess on this list, I would think, well, there's other ones obviously too, but I would guess like the Klay Thompson, the Dwayne Wade, and the Garnett are probably the 3 people want the most. The Garnett, I don't know. I could see people wanting the other ones more because I would guess there's not an Anthony Davis on the Pelicans moment yet. But yeah, I think it's tough because not a lot of people want to throw $1,000 at Top Shot right now. What you mentioned is some people will have that stimulus that could be even like a few $100, and they're actually buying in for $500-$600 into that pack. And I think for the most part, that pack is going to be the better one for people to buy in. They're also doing like an MGLE pack this week that I would prefer this Deck the Hoops, but I don't know. What is your overall thought on these? Like as I refer to them, gimmick sets, like the
Yeah.
Deck the Hoops. Like I've heard a lot of people that are into collecting too that say they would just rather have the metallic gold, or this says like throwback. I get the idea in this one more than like the hustle and show. Like those packs, I think those sets I think are just dumb in general. But at least this one has like a real theme to it, and it seems like they want to do it recurring each year around Christmas.
Yeah. So you mentioned before I give you my full breakdown here, got to take a deep breath before I get into talking about anything Dapper and Tap Shot. But you mentioned the MGLE drop, which is taking place on Thursday. Is that Thursday? Am I right? Or sorry. Oh no, it's also tomorrow.
It's on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I scrolled down far. There's a bunch of drops tomorrow as well.
I mean,
Art Box Factory, Imps
knowing
by
Top
Super
Shot,
Nifty.
I would guess only one of those 2 run tomorrow.
we won't make any bets on that on stream. But yes, Lou is right. It is tomorrow. I'm sorry. I saw all these and I just assumed.
But the
it was
MGLE is like super cheap
very
comparatively. Like
accessible.
$89. You're getting 6 moments, and
Yep.
one of them is a rare, which probably has a floor of like $50 maybe. I don't know what
Yep.
I don't know if
6
we've had
moments.
any rares in Series 3 yet. I guess not, but yeah, you're getting the guaranteed rare on there, and then if you assume the other 5 moments are all $3, then I don't know, that's probably around $70 expected from like your worst pack. So I don't know. I think maybe I would be more likely to do that one. It has a lot lower of a requirement, but a different requirement. So I think I would fit in on priority queue on this one, because you have to have 2,500. I think I have 3,000 as my collector score. So they're giving a lower bonus on the MGLE, and then what did they have for general? It's just the 5,000 bonus then.
Well,
Yeah.
2,500, and then you can get up to max 5,000. Same thing for the priority. Yeah. My take on Top Shot and both these drops. I am glad that they did over the course of this weekend drop some more information. I think one of the things that has been really frustrating for a whole bunch of folks is the communication from Top Shot and Dapper as a whole has been underwhelming. They've I think under delivered, but even in spite of under delivering, like they just haven't communicated well and keeping people up to date about things, and they've kind of strung things along without maybe the formal updates that we'd like to get or hoping to get. Or maybe it's the case that they've updated, but the updates have not been sufficient or satisfactory from the consumer side. I think maybe it's a little bit of both. I think in terms of your question regarding like these gimmick sets or whatever, I actually have no issue with this. I think it's pretty typical, and it actually makes it a little bit easier for collectors to kind of like understand how to group and compare moments, right? Because then you're like comparing Deck the Hoops to Deck the Hoops, right? From this year to last year and beyond. As opposed to like one of the big struggles for everybody, I think is, well, maybe not for everybody, but one of the struggles that in terms of like the infighting of Top Shot is how is season 1 going to compare to series 2 and series 2 compare to series 3 and all of these things. And, I think it's just a little bit more difficult to compare those common moments from year to year than it maybe will be with these individual sets. And I'm not sure that's a pro or a con really, but I personally am like totally okay with that being the case. I think it sets clear expectations for consumers. They know what to get. It's kind of unique. I'm totally for it. As for like this particular drop, $999 in Top Shot as a present time.
Hefty.
Dude, I mean, I didn't get a Top Shot stimulus. I don't think I will be participating. Even you're talking about the EV here, right? Like if it's plus EV, like it makes sense to do it. That's basically, the way we should live our lives, right? If something's positive expected value, we should do it regardless of result. I don't know that I can stomach it, even if it is right now. I'm just like way down on not on these things necessarily long term, or even Dapper or Top Shot all day. Nothing necessarily long term, but in terms of excitement level, I'm like just worn out of collecting on
to
these.
like open a pack. Yeah.
No interest really. No interest at all. So I don't know, man. I personally I will be participating in the MGLE drop. Yes. $89. I'm okay with I'm okay if I burn $89, I burn $89. I do not want to rip a $999 pack and have like fucking,
some random players.
The worst player of all time. Like, we talked about this, but if you're ripping a legendary pack on all day, or I guess it was just premium or rare, $250 pack, and you're getting a punter moment, legendary punter, like the outrage. I might have just deleted. Can you delete your account on Top Shot? I don't think you can, but I would have deleted my account.
Yeah, I mean, you can just withdraw your funds and it probably can delete it. The issue for me is all those moments in the $9.99 pack are going to be a lot more illiquid. So even if it might technically be plus EV, like if you get that like a Garnet serial number 12 or something, like you're probably, if you were to sell it, but the problem is how many people are buying it. That's my issue with it more so, is I don't think right now it's very liquid. There's not that many buyers who are going to be going into some of those. Yes, they're only out of 55. So if there are collectors that are trying to get the whole set, technically you only need about 50 people who want to be collecting the full set. But I don't know if there's that many people that are high enough on Top Shot that are trying to scoop all these right now. At least not if they're over $1,000 each. Like there aren't a lot of people that are trying to put thousands of dollars into Top Shot right now. and it seems like the idea of like serial numbers no longer really matters on Top Shot in the same way it once did. Seems like floor is kind of the only thing that really matters. So it's almost like you would want a garnet floor, and you would hope the floor is $800 or something. But I don't know. I could see it. Like there was Top Shot was in the top 5 of by volume on like Crypto Slam the last few days over the weekend after they did that sort of stimulus. Um, I haven't really seen anything that says that they're like back, so to speak, because a lot of it was, I think, people getting $250 and then they go in and they buy something with it so that they can then um, withdraw later, or it's an item that they wanted that now they have the ability to buy. So I don't know. To me, it's like tough to have a lot of confidence in Top Shot right now. That the technically it might be EV decision to buy that back, but it's, I think, risk because I don't know how many buyers there are to make it EV in the short term. If it's something that you want, in my opinion, especially on Top Shot, just buy it after.
Yeah.
Like some of those floors are gonna be under $1,000, and you can just pick one of those. Like maybe the Clay Thompson is $500 floor. You just saved yourself $500 by not buying the pack.
Right. Right. Yeah. You said you're not sure Top Shot's back. Will Top Shot ever be back? We don't know, but we should while we're
That's
on the topic, we should at least like talk about this. For those who don't know, and we'll have an article going live hopefully later today on the site. We're kickstarting a weekly Top Shot update because there are a lot of people that want to know what's happening with Top Shot, and unfortunately, given just the place or its current standing in the NFT ecosystem, which is not at the top, despite maybe sales from this last weekend. Some of the updates regarding Top Shot can get lost. So we'll have a weekly update going live on the site in a little bit from Jason Bales. But Lou, we should talk a little bit about this update that they provided. 2022 Road Ahead.
Yeah.
Top Shot Road Ahead. There's a a full blog post, of course, with I don't know. Should I say a whole host of like updated roadmap items or not? I'm not necessarily sure they're
Yeah, some people seem to be pretty excited about it. It's like they haven't had an update like this, at least
right.
anytime recently.
This is sort of what I like. This is just them communicating, hopefully effectively, right? Hopefully they execute on all these things, but them just communicating in large part is a win, at least in my opinion. So you have a couple things here, right? I'll just kind of hit the highlights, and then I'll ask if you have a clear take on or a clear favorite here. Spend-based rewards, right? Daily utility. So they've started doing like flash challenges, right? They've indicated here recent updates have been a huge hit, at least according to them. New challenges, higher frequency of challenges, dynamic degrees of difficulty of challenges, different prizes for those challenges. Bids, this was a big one, right? That I think a lot of people were excited about to potentially set more efficient markets. You're going to have your ability to set asks in here. Leaderboards, I don't give a shit about leaderboards at all. Watch list is pretty cool. This is kind of like favorite a moment, and you sort of keep track of it. Social components, whatever. I don't really care to share my Top Shot stuff, whatever. Performance, improved user experiences, giving, which of course extends into the the gift back and rake back stuff as well. Do you have thoughts here, Lou, on any one particular item of note? Thoughts?
Yeah, I think the bidding is a big deal, and then the watch list to me, because I always kind of wish there was a watch list where I could like find something and tag it, and then you don't have to like go back, search it. You can keep your watch list, and if you're eyeing an item, you could potentially get things like a notification that says, oh, this fell below X amount. And that's like ideally what you're looking for, right? Like you're tracking a moment, waiting for it to drop under $100. And then you get an email that says, oh, it's under $100. You can hop on. You're like, oh, perfect. I want to buy it now. So that's exciting to me. And then the bidding is always something people have been sort of wondering, but in general, I think that's part of a healthy marketplace is to be able to bid on items, and it's it also creates more liquidity as well, where um I'm not sure if they're going to have it the same way as say like for instance the Adidas NFT from last week. The floor was like 0.85, and then there were a bunch of WETH offers at 0.8, so there's like a little bit of a gap. But if anyone wanted, they could list it at 0.84 if they wanted to undercut, or they can just take from the bids. So I think bidding is going to be a good thing because it allows people that sort of want to get out the ability to get out of that item, and not just continually be undercutting the floor.
Yeah, in the Top Shot update here, you can see like bids. I mean, this is the reason it needs to be here, right? Bids will create more transaction velocity and increase marketplace matchmaking. And it says up here as well, necessary features for price discovery. I mean, that's right. You got to have the ability to have this to create a true and fair and efficient marketplace. Right now, it's not necessarily quite that, and you're exactly right. It'll help liquidity. Maybe help relevance of Top Shot at a day-to-day level. Whereas, a lot of like the hot projects, when they're hot, liquidity is strong and you can get in, you can get out. And that's like a huge, huge thing with illiquid JPEGs, right?
The price discovery, I think, is important because a lot of people, like right now, the cheapest, let's say LeBron Cosmic is listed at $1 million or $250,000 or whatever it is. There might be people that are willing to buy it for $100,000, and we won't know because none of the owners are listing it for that. But if they have a bidding system and someone's going to throw out, I'm willing to spend $100K on this, there might be people willing to sell it at that price that just don't want to list it at that price because they don't want to seem like they're the ones listing it. But it'll also show somewhat of the demand on all of these higher end items. I think is where it's going to be pretty cool to see because we've kind of been questioning that for a while. Is like how much would a LeBron Cosmic go for in like an open market idea? So I think they'll be. I don't know if it'll be good or bad to see some of those, but obviously, like that's where like on OpenSea, a lot of them come from bots. Obviously, less bots on Top Shot at this moment because of things like KYC, but I think it'll help us get a sense of what people actually want to pay for some of these items, or because you're probably gonna undercut on your bid as well. But that's what I'll be interested in seeing is like the higher end items on the bidding.
Yeah, let's continue the conversation of this week. We were chatting about this a little bit last night, but another project on the project schedule page is IMPS, IMPS by Super Nifty. You can access it, of course, right via the schedule page. December 21st, 12 p.m. The public sale. The pre-sale is actually live right now. And I was looking, there's about 1,907 that are currently minted during the pre-sale process. A little bit of
you had to own one to do pre-sale, right?
I'm not sure if it says specifically in here.
I think so. Yeah, see, one floating head, one free imp.
Yep.
So you got one free, and then if you had one of those super balls, you got a mint pass. So that makes sense.
Well, yeah, pre-sale pass. Basically, you're being whitelisted. Yep.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. I personally am like a pretty big fan of just the look of this. Let me go back actually to the project schedule page, just give more of the details here. So you have 6,666 of these available in the public sale. It's a 10,000 piece collection, but around 3,300, 33, 37, 33, 34, sorry, they available via the pre-sale process, which is still ongoing for about another 24 hours. I think there's actually a counter on the site. Yeah, 24 hours, 6 minutes for the pre-sale. So if you are out there and you're holding the floating head or the Super Ball and you have the ability to go grab an imp, you can go ahead and do so for the next 24 hours before the public sale kicks off. But let me go back to the schedule page. 6,666 will be available via the public mint, 0.05 Ethereum. You have a, not much secondary action right now, but 0.8, 0.08 as of right now. IMPS, IMPS actually stands for Institute for Master Pursuers of Spirits, mischievous demigods that hunt down and collect invisible spirits in the metaverse. I'm really actually excited. This is like beyond imps, but excited to kind of see some of the lore for some of these things, like collections that maybe live, like where it goes, because it's going to be maybe real weird and very funny. But nevertheless, I'll head back here. Excuse me.
The super nifty guy, he's pretty young, and I believe a lot. I want to say, and I'm not sure if this is how this is going to be.
Artist.
Yeah, so he does art on VR. I don't know if that's the correct way to word it. When he is creating these, he's in VR, and he's like molding them in the circular form and whatnot. There's some cool videos I've found of him doing him too. But I've always liked these. Some of them, I believe they were like 0.2 initially to buy, and the floor is at like 1. So he does a lot. It's like the 3D style. And they do appeal to me. The floating heads have always been kind of cool.
Yeah,
so the floor is about 1. I had debated on buying one to get in on this, but I
look at these freaking things. These are great.
Yeah, and these are all like one of one. So my thought in this like 10,000 set, and this is always what happens, I feel like, with these one of one artists, is the question is, out of 10,000, are a lot of them going to be similar? So there's one. Do you remember Johnny Bravo?
The Cartoon Network show?
Yeah. He has one of those that are really cool. Not sure if it's probably listed higher on there, but he has like one of those that I really like. Maybe I can find it real quick and throw it in the private chat to you. But that's when I originally saw him a few months ago. But
25-year-old European PhD student.
Yeah. So he's a PhD too. So sharp guy. And these are pretty unique as far as their style go. Like, we don't really see a lot of these. Let me send you this one. That one's kind of cool. A lot of them. That's the thing, though, is with 10,000 versus doing a one of one. It's a little tough. There's some that were like unicorns.
I'm getting internet's rugging me right now, I think. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh.
So like that's pretty dope, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
So
this is definitely unique. Like, it actually reminds me of like a couple other like DK Motion, right? The motion artist, actually, like, John Nanetti, who you just did the stream, of course, how to start crypto raiders, how to get started with crypto raiders. He has his little Telegram avatar is DK Motion. You know what I'm talking about, right? The Let's Walk characters. Yeah. Miguel, is it Miguel Garist or Miguel Arist? I'm gonna botch. Also, like, this reminds me a little bit of his work as well. I don't know if you've seen these before. I love stuff like this. I think it's awesome. I think these are very, very cool. Of course, speaking objectively, subjectively, nothing here financial advice. I'm wondering, Lou, and this is going to be like a huge leap forward. So, definitely pull me back, rein me in. But okay. I'm wondering if like something like this with imps, like, so he started right with the floating heads, started with the super balls, those are sort of the beginnings of him and his artistry. I'm wondering if, now with imps, you're kind of seeing a new like ghosts type thing unfold here. You know what I'm talking about? Like ghosts, like The
But
NFT
but he's
collection
doing
goes.
10,000.
I know. So that is, of course, like a little bit of a supply shock, not in the means of small, but
I
he's
feel like there's
creating
a
like his
lot of
own.
artists that have tried to do stuff like this, where following the ghost method. Like if you scroll up
Right, he's
into the
got his
description,
yeah,
this kind of like
ghosts,
roadmap.
immortals, demons. Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen a few others that do that. Um, and I'm kind of in a way surprised that maybe Super Nifty didn't do it that way. He's just
right.
coming out
I
with the
guess
10,000
I'm
gen.
sort of suggesting that he's doing that, maybe not as linearly as Ghost, but it is sort of doing that and creating like his own, his own kind of. I don't know how to characterize it appropriately or most appropriately, but yeah, I don't know. I think these are very cool. He made an honorary for D's. Did you see that?
Yeah, so that's the other thing about it is like you can with the one of ones, like you can make them kind of however you want. Like he's got that cool cat one. He's got
Yeah, G
there's a
Money, X
rainbow puke one.
Copy.
Look at that.
Jeez. Yeah.
Oh, he did one for Cole. Skulls, G Money, yeah.
Yeah, this is Deadfellas right here. Betty from Deadfellas. It's pretty sweet art in my opinion. I think this is unique. This is something that like I am totally open to actively participating in. And the other thing about this, we've talked about this before with like Food Mask U, right? Which we both minted. These are ones where I don't feel so bad. It's cliche, but I don't feel so bad about minting an imp that looks like this and like it going to zero. Like,
Yeah.
I
kept missing his because he would basically do the like drop on Twitter and it was on OpenSea. Like, hey, just minted this one and you have, I don't know, like 2 minutes to figure out and you had to be watching at that exact time. So I never actually was able to get in on them. And then it was tough to buy it like 1 ETH because they would just immediately be listed at 1 ETH. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of been one that's always been on my list of kind of what you said, like just for the collection. This is another way you could word it.
Yeah.
But I also would want to like find one for me, not just these random ones.
Right. When Lou honorary? That's what people are asking, right?
Yeah. Get an honorary. Yeah, I should just DM him and be like, hey, so
hey, we talked about it on the show. There are some
these
cool
are ones that have already
here.
Been minted, right?
Yeah. So this is Joy World, of course, right? John O'Ryan Young.
Joy is dope.
Rainbow Puke, G Money, of course. There's Cole, as you mentioned. D's definitely here. X Copy. I'm gonna obviously miss some that I don't necessarily recognize, but I do. I think these are really, really cool. Look, this must be Danny Verno.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Cool Cats.
The Cool Cats ones, like they're all so cool, like the honorary ones. But this goes back to what I was saying, like
who traded
like,
one?
all those are cool, but are 10,000 of them gonna be cool? That's always the thing that happens. Like those skulls, one of these honoraries he had was the skulls. They came out with 10,000 and people like hated them again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how you'd word it.
He did a Zeneca honorary as well. I mean, I think they're unique. I think they're cool. We'll see.
Do you think do you think there should be a 10,000 of them? I think what's cool about them is they were one-on-ones and they're all specific to something. That's sort of the issue I have with it.
I think this is a way that projects can like very quickly cement their failure or their success. Is like how unique. It's not really the right word to use there, but like how differentiated are the individual mints? Like, do they look like one of ones, or do they all look the exact same, or what? We've talked about this with like Mechaverse, right? Actually, like ironically, and full disclosure, we're both Little Lemon holders, but like that was a project where I think there were some initial concerns, at least when we were talking about it, that like they would just look all like silly little lemons. And then I think most people were pretty Yeah, it's tough to really talk about this objectively, but I think most people were happy with the turnout and how they did seem quite different, for the most part throughout the collection. So this will be a tough one. If you're not giving because he's not building 10,000 of these individually, right? You're creating the inputs for the potential traits to get a select set of outputs. Same thing happens with art blocks. We're talking about it with geometry, right? How do you make sure that the mints themselves are different enough that they feel like one of ones, right? Or that they don't necessarily need to look just like the one of ones, but feel like the one of one nature that adds to the, kind of oomph of this collection. That's the best part about this, right? Is that a lot of these look like, or a lot of these could look like super unique pieces that other people and users and participants could identify with.
Yeah. And
we'll see.
And they still don't have any revealed, so we're not really sure what they're going to look like yet in that sense.
Right. So the pre-sale still live for about 24 hours. There have been around 1,700 minted, somewhere around there.
I think it's 19 now. Yeah.
1,900. Okay. I wrote this last night. So around 1,900 minted. Of course that can get up to, right. Pre-sale is holding 33, 34 worth. It doesn't mean everybody will mint them, but could be up to that many gone. Otherwise, as I mentioned here, there may be a larger selection available via the public sale than previously expected. It's supposed to take place tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So, man, the early part of this week, we chatted about this a little bit at the very beginning of the stream, but the early part of this week is jam-packed.
When everything is, yeah.
And then as everybody heads into I don't know when the shutdown takes place, right? But after Wednesday, we've got Sad Cats, which is an extension. It's kind of the third piece of the Sad Girls. Was it Sad? Yeah, Sad Girls Bar Club. Yeah, right. Sad Girls Bar. Third piece of that coming on Wednesday. But for the most part, you got 2 full days worth of mints, reveals, right? You can head to the project updates tab here for all the reveals. 4 reveals later today, at least 4. We didn't even talk about Dino Babies.
Yeah.
So there is a lot going on here in the very early stages of this week. Is there anything else, Lou, aside from projects individually? We spent a lot of time going through the calendar, spent a lot of time talking about art blocks plus NBA Top Shop, probably the 2 biggest notes from this week. Imps, and others, the reveals as well. Anything else that you're most interested in kind of following or tracking this week?
I think isn't Creature World hinting at merch this week, or is that further out?
I think it's merch this week. Yeah. So if people didn't see, Creature World last night did the second journey, which was pretty hyped for a while.
Right.
Very hyped. Very hyped for a while. Danny Cole was throwing out words like, this is going to change NFTs, right? Of that magnitude, notes of that magnitude. We actually launched, Jason Bales launched on the site last night, What is Creature World's Second Journey? If you're curious, interested, did not get a chance to follow along, you can head there and, check it out, the piece, and get an understanding, or a better understanding. I'm not sure you can fully understand anything that Danny Cole is doing, but you can get a better understanding of what's happening in an update regarding the Creature World event last night. But it's more or less like a reroll of traits, right? Merch to come. Would you rock? You'd rock. Have you seen the sweaters that Danny's tweeted about before? Would you rock one of those?
The merch is cool. They're one of them that I think their merch is cool. The it's called the SSS, the Superlative whatever Society. I think they have cool merch. Yeah, merch is good. Just in general, you're trying to it's branding, right? Seeing people out in public, Steve Aoki bought another ape yesterday, and I think he now he'll probably wear ape shirts at his concerts, and he'll have them in the background in the visuals. And I think just from a branding standpoint, it's generally good. So that is a sweater.
Yeah. Have you seen these? Have you not seen these? These are remarkable.
It's wrapped up, but yeah, I mean,
Well, right, but you can get a right. You have that understanding. This is like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
creature, right?
Oh, you
I
have in the other one.
where was it?
In the other picture, yeah, they're hanging up.
I see him over here. Okay, yeah. So that's the one.
I mean, that's pretty
I
funny.
just did
Is
a
this
Creature World merch
that's
search.
from Art Basel?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Hmm.
Um, I mean,
Could
Twitter
wear that
search
to an
is so
ugly
bad.
sweater party.
That's what I was thinking,
People
actually.
wouldn't even know that it like
Dude, it's
isn't.
kind of spooky. So you and Danny held down the show that night of the Creature World event at NFT NYC when I was there. But
Mm.
people are into the creatures, man. There were a guy painted himself as his creature. That was a little weird. There was a creature like mascot walking around. So we'll see. I am.
It brings me back to like I feel like now at this point, 10,000 might be too much. Like
We're
if
still too
Creature World was
early.
5,000, like how many of the people in it for Creature World are in it because they're that type of person? Like I still think that number is pretty low, but it's not like an early thing for me. Like you think someone that comes into NFTs 3 months from now is going to like hop into Creature World right away? I think the people that are into Creature World got in initially. So I think there's a lot of projects like that that maybe would have been better as smaller supply count.
Yeah. Well, the reason I yelled the early thing is that that's what everybody says. Like 10,000 is going to be way too small when you have like a bajillion people
Yeah.
in, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, South Park is making episodes on NFTs. I don't think we're as early as we once were now. It's pretty mainstream when South Park is making fun of it. So
well, I'd say
I don't know.
South Park is quite progressive in terms
Yeah,
of the things they're going to make fun of. So
but a lot of people are gonna watch that episode and then be like, what is this? What is this guy talking about?
right. And
So
hopefully they stumble into luckytrader.com where you can find all the, project news, notes, schedule, rarity rankings, all that stuff. As for me, as we get ready to wrap up this week, I think I'm most interested, and this extends beyond this week, but most interested in the state of the market as we approach the end of the year and as we
yeah.
approach the end of tax loss harvesting. Of course, nobody likes to talk about it. I don't like talking about it. I don't like thinking about it. It gives me anxiety. But if you head to the luckytrader.com site, we've been starting to like up our tax content. So of course, have started like some reviews of some of the most notable crypto and NFT tax softwares. Token Tax being one. We just dropped Zen Ledger one, Coin Tracker, NFT Bank still to come, and of course our friends at RKO Tax, like actual accountants, gave us some really handy what do I need to know before the end of the year news and notes regarding tax. And one of those keynotes is harvest your losses where you can, right? Wash sale rule goes away for next year for crypto assets. That includes NFTs. So, how active is the community, is the market in selling off for losses? And if it is active, do we see like an almost immediate uptick start January 1st? Who knows? But that's what I'm curious about, Lou. So that's what I'll be paying attention to. Of course, we will continue to pump the X content. We will continue to, keep you guys updated on the market and the state of the market and what's coming as things fold along. But that's what I'm most interested in. Any last thoughts, Lou, before we send people on their way?
Yeah. Something that just popped up on my feed is Gary Vee's announcing NFT side of his books. So I'm sure that'll be
No.
something that we're going to cover on the site. And yeah, so it looks like Immutable X is going to be where the
Okay,
NFTs
that's
are.
fine.
So, yeah, there's 125,000 NFTs there's going to be.
Oh, good. I'm glad
So,
I bought 48 books.
yeah, you get 4 NFTs. So yeah, I think this might bring a lot of people to Immutable X that have never been on it. That could be cool. The layer 2 idea, and I'm not surprised that he's doing it on layer 2, like
Not if you got to give
125,000
125.
NFTs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, book games. This will be a good one to figure out, and
These will be
see
worth
what
about
happens.
0. Do
But
you
your
think
books, you can read all 48 of them,
do you
and
think
you
that
get
you
that
will
value.
you'll make back? Wait, how many books did you buy? Did you just buy 24?
I have 24. They're still in the box.
Yeah, same here. I have 48. They're all in the box. Do you think you will make back your investment on your books?
Maybe. Well, no, I only have 2 NFTs.
No confidence at all in making
How
back
much
this
were the books?
investment.
They were like 25 or so.
Yeah, I think I
each?
spent $1,300 for
Yeah, I want to say like
48.
600. So I mean,
I'm not getting it back. I didn't get it back.
That's only like a 0.07 floor per NFT to like get your money back with it, and you have the books. Like you could,
I saw
but
one of the books. I flew home this
you can
weekend
sell the
from
books on like
from
eBay and
shitty
stuff.
Minneapolis, and I saw one of those books in the Minneapolis airport, and like I almost had a panic attack.
And how much did they sell for? Like,
I'm
what
not
if you
sure. I
sold
didn't look.
each of the books for $10
Dude, I'm giving away every single
in
book.
one NFT?
I'm not selling the books. Like I'm
So
not.
you weren't going in trying to get your money back anyway.
Well, the reason I bought the books is for the NFT. Sorry, Gary, but I'm not in it for the books. Like I was in it for the money of the NFT. Full transparency, right? Hopefully Danny Miranda is not watching because he'd be sad to know that, I was not in it for the Gary V here. I was in it for making money on Gary V's NFT, and I do not expect.
But we always knew it was going to be 100,000 count. Like we always knew the supply was going to be a lot because everyone's sharing that they bought hundreds of books. So yeah,
I didn't want to think about it.
So that announcement came out today, and we'll see everyone probably flooding Gary V on your timeline.
How did the Gary V Mattel drop go? I mean, it sold out, but like,
yeah, I
was underwhelmed by that.
Attention to it much.
His huge announcement
this goes back to what we said last time. Is he doing too many things?
V Friends Uno cards? Who gives a shit?
Some people like to play Uno.
No, they don't.
Uno's a fun game.
Uno's fine, but nobody wants V Friends Uno cards.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, we gotta sign off before I say something I shouldn't. For all those who are watching, thank you for participating. Please do stay tuned to luckytrader.com for all the news and notes regarding all things NFTs. We will catch you guys later this week. Happy holidays to all. Yeah, we'll see you later.